Okay, in this segment, I will look at a lesson planning document. So what's required in a very extensive lesson plan and how can you complete it? So I'll show you a completed model as well. That you can download these, and there's also an explanation sheet if you want to refer back to it later. But let's start by asking, for you, what do you consider for a teacher to be the top benefits of writing a plan? Hit the pause button and have a think. Okay. So the benefits of a lesson plan. It gives you time out and space to think about your lesson. It sounds strange, but most of us are planning in a hurry. We have what called the doorknob lessons. You think on the doorknob, what am I going to do today? But sometimes to see it laid out is really useful. I have to say, a lot of teachers resist writing plans, which I completely understand, because they are very consuming and they challenge you. They challenge what might be your normal sort of classroom behaviour. You have to justify what you're doing. But they do give you time and space to actually think logically about the lesson. You're forced to clarify your objectives. Things need to be clear. Your organisation improves with planning. So yes, it helps you to sequence the lesson and just get organised. Although the planning is quite often, I don't want to do it. However, a successful plan boosts teachers' confidence. So they work really well. And a good plan, if you can pass it on and help other people, which is always really useful. Okay. Download the blank lesson planning document and consider how you might complete section 3, only section 3 of the lesson plan, and that's the language analysis for the language structure used to. Okay, so when I was younger, I used to smoke. Okay, so consider you are going to be teaching used to. How will you complete that? Okay, this is my sample model lesson plan. Obviously my name, title of the course, this depends. A lot of this documentation, remember, is for other people to be able to pick it up and work out, where you are physically, where you are in the course book, etc. So the idea, always think of your lesson plan as a document that somebody else has to read and work out the information. If you write it like that, it works well. So number of students, average number, class composition, could be all sorts, boys, girls, different ages, different levels, whatever you think is most important. Start time, room number, how long is the lesson? So an observer, it really, really varies. I've known observers observe a lesson for up to 3 hours, which seems awfully long. I would say that most observers, if it's not just a drop-in, might be 20 minutes, but a full formal observation would normally be about 50 minutes maximum. Okay, and the assessor wants to know how often the group meets and how long are they likely to keep going. Is this a 9-month course or is it an intensive short course? Okay, all right, so we're talking about used to, so the target language will be used to. So what the assessor's looking for is what was taught before. So is there something there? Okay, so we practice the use of past simple. So that's quite a likely previous lesson to introducing used to. If you're going to introduce used to, usually the students are fairly familiar with past simple forms, both regular and to some degree irregular. Okay, and moving on from used to, logically would be to incorporate all, past tense and regular and irregular and used to together to talk about. So to practice the 3 together. All right. So main aim of the lesson. And this obviously can vary. This is just kind of my idea for one. So to focus on used to in order to be able to describe one's childhood, comparing it to the lives of children today. So we've got the language and we've got the outcome. What are we going to do with it? So we've got the language is used to, and we're going to use that language in order to compare it to the lives of children today. So the secondary aim for this could well be to give reading practice on the topic of childhood and oral fluency. So I would expect to find the language I'm used to embedded into the reading. So this lesson is very likely to start with a reading practice. We'll understand the reading, we'll understand that it's about childhood and the past, and that reading will provide a model for the outcome, that the task that students will do at the end. Okay. Materials to be used, obviously this is very dependent on the teacher. In this case, I've used ChatGPT to create a 400-word reading, B1 level. We do look at using ChatGPT later on in the course, but it's very good for producing this kind of text. Okay. So if you're doing a Delta, you'll be asked to, management issues. So what are your personal development goals? So for example, let me show you. So you may wish to reduce unnecessary teacher talk, which for new teachers is a real problem and is a very, very valid personal goal. So try to elicit more and wait longer. There's a great temptation to jump in and answer A, student questions, and B, your own questions to students. And teacher talk, rehearsing classroom instructions and improving them absolutely reduces teacher talk. Okay, so personal development goals, all sorts. I've given in the information sheet, I've given lots of examples of different goals. The assessor needs to know, are there issues? So it could be 2 learners arrive 5 minutes late because of buses. It could be that student X tends to be disruptive during reading. So for example, this is your chance to show anyone watching the lesson that you are aware of any of the issues that may come up. Okay, so you might do some kind of activity before the late students arrive. It happens. So this may be, so for example, you may decide to offer more individual attention during the reading stage. So you're trying to show that you understand what the problems are, you're anticipating them, and you've got a solution. This is a chance where you can ask so let's show this one. Get the assessor's advice. I think the learner Alex may be in the wrong level, might benefit from going up to the next level, but I'm not sure how different it will be and if they can manage it or not. Can you advise? So the assessor may be more aware of the different levels in the school and can bring their expertise. Use your assessors. They are there because they are more experienced. Okay. In this case, I don't have a whiteboard plan, but if, for example, you're doing an advanced diploma exam, you will be expected to have a clear whiteboard plan for each stage of the lesson. So you need to draft out what your board will look like at each different stage. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be our target language. Let's see if I can... Okay. Oh, I haven't put it in there. Hang on, I'll come back to that then. Okay, how will the meaning of the target language be presented? So this is essentially context as well. So I will show pictures of myself at school. They will be black and white, of course. and ask how they think my life might be different now. I'll guide this by getting the students to think about my past habits, bedtimes, how I used to spend money, how I spent money in the past, my interests and my feelings when I was a younger person at school. So, at school, I used to love doing physics, which is very true. I loved it. Okay, let's go on to our meaning of the... So this is the target language and the meaning. Okay, I've got to change that. I used to love playtime. All right. It's a past state, so it means it's a state that finished in the past. I used to ride my bike. It's a past habit as opposed to state, and it doesn't happen now. But also, if it was habit, it infers automatically that it happened more than once. And used to express a past habit or repeated action that no longer happens. It's a bit of repetition there, but that gives you the idea. So essentially, that is the core meaning of used to. Okay, so students may confuse used to with regular present tense verbs and think it means something that still happens. I used to play football, and they think I still play football. So a potential area of confusion. Some of the more slightly higher level students may be mixing it up with be used to. I am used to living in my hometown now. So they might, which is obviously different structure and different meaning, and they do tend to confuse these two. But it's more likely the other way around. However, there's that possible confusion. L1 interference. So in some languages, the exact structure may not exist, so students struggle to grasp the nuance of past habit or state that no longer happens or exists. So that's the anticipated problems, and my solutions are, I can use a timeline, so put everything in the past, contrastative examples, concept checking questions. Do I still do it now? Was it in the past or present? Was it a regular habit? Did I do it more than once? Etc. You may use translation, but cautiously and only if it's helpful. Okay. So target language for meaning, anticipated problems, and the solution. Okay, now I look at the grammar. So I'm going to analyse the language from 3 points. Its meaning or use, form / grammar, and pronunciation. So if I'm looking at the grammar problems, it's not really a problem, but I outline the target language always as affirmative, negative, and question structures. Okay, let's have a look what I've got here. Okay, errors in question, negative forms, and there's another, so this is where students I anticipate may make errors, and the problem of overgeneralization. The learner may apply the rule too broadly. Okay, is there any more there? I don't know. Okay. So my solutions are emphasise, provide written and spoken errors and highlight the D in used, have students circle or underline the full structure in the text. Explicitly teach did takes the past tense, so we use and not used after it. I mean, practice for used to, really. Pronunciation issues. Okay. So affirmative, negative, and question with the phonemic script showing. The potential problems are connected speech issues, used to, didn't with the schwa, didn't used to with the speech, with the schwa sound at the end. So drill for natural pronunciation. Have I got that there? Yeah. Teach natural pronunciation. I used to live in. Model sentences and use call repetition with clear stress. I used to ride my bike to school. I used to ride. Use drilling with gestures to show where the stress falls. Okay, that's it. Out of interest, on early initial training courses, we have a rule that we do not change a plan on the same day as the teacher's teaching. They just can't cope with it. And it's quite, you see a plan, you think, oh my goodness, this is not going to go well. However, the disturbance to the teacher is so great that over time I've come to think that just let the teacher get on with it, and maybe I can help them during the actual lesson if it's needed. But so don't change on the day. Offer support, be there. Tell them, it's not a torture. Give them ideas of ways to improve it. Throughout this, you'll see the tests that you can apply. Apply the tests of looking at the interaction patterns, Bloom's taxonomy. Are the aims correct? You'll see all the tests that you can apply to make sure that the plan is going to work. Okay, so in conclusion, one of the hardest things, weirdly, is to get teachers to complete the plan. I've actually got to the point now where I won't observe a lesson without having received the plan. It's not worth it. You need the plan to accurately and effectively and fairly assess a lesson. Start at the back. If you're not sure, I always encourage teachers to think, what do you want students to do at the end of the lesson? So, for example, they're going to use used to in order to compare their childhoods. Fine. Okay, now work back. So you've got your kind of main production task. Think about how you'll get the language in. So quite often, starting at the back of the lesson works. And that's, as I just said, and run the tests. Look at the aims, look at the interaction patterns, look at the levels of engagement. Okay. All right. Thank you.